So I'm joined right now by a regular on the podcast. I would imagine you've been on this podcast more than anybody else. I haven't counted the number of appearances, but as of now, this could be the last one. I'm not sure as of yet, for many reasons, of which I've explained elsewhere. But welcome to the podcast, Hayley, once more. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. With, I mean, this podcast I've been doing for 3 years, and it's quite emotional because we met doing the roundtables during the pandemic,
Yeah,
where I would say, "Oh, we're doing this roundtable," and you'd say, "Yeah, I'll do that." And so you appeared on quite a lot of them, and it was great fun.
it was. I mean, it's sad to think that this could be the last time I'll be a guest. But thank you so much for having me in, and each experience has been great. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you, Jamie.
That's all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
So before I get into it, because I've got a couple of questions that I want to run by you, but I need to catch up on your, I would say globe trotting, but I think it's just UK trotting stuff. I mean, what have you seen lately?
Well, we've been to a few Swiftogeddons, which is when we go to the Taylor Swift club night, which we enjoy doing. And we've also got a few concerts lined up, but we have recently seen Maroon 5, and that was a brilliant experience. Neither of us have ever seen Maroon 5, and they're my partner Chris's favourite band, and that was a brilliant experience in itself. And we've got a few more scheduled over the next month or two. It's just a hobby that we both really enjoy, me more so, but my partner Chris seems to enjoy it just as much as I do, which is great. It's an experience that we can share together.
And it's great that you both got to see Maroon 5 for the first time. I mean, what a band, because they changed their sound quite dramatically. I was watching a video recently of Justin Hawkins from The Darkness looking at early Maroon 5 stuff and how actually over time it got a tiny bit more manufactured. I mean, how is it in a live sense? Because I know with some of these bands, you know, they sound manufactured on record and then you go and see them live and it's as raw as ever.
It really was the experience. I mean, and the effects and everything with certain songs and the visuals, they really did put on a really good show. And I believe that they're doing a residency at the moment in is it in Vegas, I believe, which I can see why they want to do that, and why there would be demand for that as well.
So I had a couple of questions I wanted to ask you. This isn't particularly a feature. Recently, when I had to appear on, I was chosen to appear on a quiz on Radio 2, 10 to the Top. And they were asking me for stories, you know, things that I, like claims to fame and stuff like that. And I just wondered whether there was any celebrity that you had the chance to meet, but you turned down for whatever reason.
No, I mean, I mean, all if I have met anyone, it's been at like gigs or in passing at like in brief, like a hello at like CD UK or Top the Pops and things like that. But no, I can't recall any that I would have turned down. And then if that was the case, I would always take the opportunity to meet them anyway. If anything, just to say hello.
You see, you're wise, because I realized the other day when I was trying to think up answers to this question, I realized that when I was 10 or 11, I played in a football tournament in Brighton and played in this tournament. And at the end of the day, there were two players from Brighton and Hove Albion that you had the chance to meet and get things signed, right? And I just thought, okay, I looked up and it was like somebody Rogers and somebody Zamora or something, right? And so I said, no, I'm not going to bother. Don't know who these people are. Brighton and Hove Albion at this point are in Division 2, I think. Division 1, Division 2, not Premiership. I'm a Liverpool fan, whatnot. You know, this is in like 2001. I go home and I watch the news, and Bobby Zamora is all over, all over the news. This wonder kid scoring goal after goal for Brighton and Hove Albion, and I think I've just turned down the chance to meet him.
I had a situation where it could have been a case of, nah, I'm not bothered. I don't mind their music, but I'm not really a big fan, or a fan as such. I don't mind them, but I'm not that bothered. There was a chance at Butlins where I had the opportunity to meet and have a photo with the singer of Scouting for Girls, and I thought, yeah, why not? So I did, and I still took that opportunity, and I said hello and had a photo with him. Bless him.
And then afterwards, I'm sure as you walked away, you know what I'm going to say? As you walked away, he said, "She's so lovely."
I love it. But yeah, I don't mind some of their songs, but like I said, it's just not a band that I would go like crazy over, if that makes sense. So
you don't really get a lot of live music on TV anymore. I mean, there was loads of it. There was like Saturday morning television. You had Top of the Pops. You had the odd, like in the 2000s, things like Today with Des and Mel, which was sort of the precursor to a lot of things. I don't know whether Loose Women were doing live performances. I mean, this is the
yeah, and then bless him, the Paul O'Grady show. He used to have a performance. Bless him.
My goodness, I mean, the Paul O'Grady show, that set off a whole trend, and it was amazing because obviously we'd seen Lily Savage, and at first I didn't make the connection because you don't as a kid really.
No, you don't. I agree. Yeah,
but I think that just shows how genius he was, because he was able to embody that character to the point where you totally believed it.
Yeah, that persona, bless him. Yeah.
I mean, I've been watching episodes of Lily Savage's Blankety Blank that are on sometimes. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me, because you'll look at the lineup, especially from the late 90s, early 2000s, and you're like, person from Corrie, person from EastEnders, short-lived pop star, person from Casualty. It was, and then occasionally, Barbara Windsor. Was very random.
Oh, bless him. It's just nice that we've still got memories of the past, obviously from the previous shows, and that, like you said, you can look back at that with fond memories of the past and whatnot, can't you? So.
You can. I mean, to go back to Paul O'Grady for a moment, there were so many copycats after that 5 p.m. program.
There was, yeah, that peak time that was obviously during the week. So yeah, Monday to Friday.
Well, it gave birth to the Alan Titchmarsh show, which, funnily enough, I nearly got the opportunity to go and see, but there was a snow day, and so we didn't go. And I remember sitting at home during this snow day, watching the Alan Titchmarsh show, and it was the most boring episode of that show that I'd ever seen. And it was probably because it was a snow day.
Yeah.
Because they would have the same problems that I did. But yeah, it was an entertaining show. But again, Paul O'Grady, you couldn't fault him. He could talk to anybody, and he had a lot of features that were interesting. And of course, Buster.
I actually had a friend that was a guest on the Paul O'Grady show, and they arranged for her to be surprised. She was sat in this room, and then all of a sudden McFly walked in, and it was on camera. And yeah, bless her. I always remember, she was her face from the footage, how shocked she was when they walked in.
I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? Again, it just did so many things. And when you look at Paul O'Grady's career, he had so many different eras. And just kept going. And of course, in the last 10 years, For the Love of Dogs.
I know. Lovely. It really was, yeah.
Definitely. Did you watch Eurovision this year? He was in that.
I didn't actually.
It
Oh,
was
yeah.
yeah. He'd filmed a clip before he passed,
Oh,
and he
bless
was in it because they were in Liverpool.
him.
Are you much of a Eurovisioner, or do you just kind of?
I don't mind it. I can see the appeal, and why people enjoy it so much, and they have their parties and whatnot. But I mean, I don't mind it. I'm kind of like in between. I'm not crazy over it, but I don't dislike it. I'm in between. I'd say I don't mind it. Depends on the song. I'll always give our song a try and see what I think, or see if it's catchy and if it's my thing. I prefer it if it's a pop band that I like, because a few bands have represented us. Scooch being one, Blue being one. So, and I know Jedward represented Ireland as well. So there's a few like pop artists in there.
Yes, and the singing turkey,
Yeah.
that was for Ireland.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about that other than the
No.
line "sad songs and bad songs" and Terry Wogan's wig. That's literally all I remember about that. But that show in particular has changed over the last, well, 60 years, 70 years.
And I was going to say we have ABBA because of it, which is great. So I'm not the biggest ABBA fan in the world like that, but I do like them, respect their music, and they've released some brilliant songs. So
Oh, it's still influencing people today. And of course, one of the biggest selling albums of the 90s was ABBA Gold.
it was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still listening to that album now, and they keep reissuing it.
And that, you know, their music's always guaranteed to get you on the dance floor, Dancing Queen in particular. So, but like I said, I do respect them and enjoy their songs. Like I said, I'm not what you'd say a hardcore fan like some are, but I can see the appeal and why people love them so much.
Yeah, did you like the movie when that came
Just
out?
about to say, I've never seen them, haven't seen either. But Chris said that the first one is better than the second, apparently. So
Isn't that the way? I mean, that's a whole other topic. Which, well, to be honest, I think 9 times out of 10 we'd say always the first one, especially if we're talking about Disney sequels. But Cinderella 2, anybody? Yeah, Bambi 2. Yeah, so
Return of Jafar, although I actually didn't mind it.
no, I think that was one of the better ones.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, the Mamma Mia I liked on the first watch. Second or third, it's like I think I've had my fill of this. I think I've had my fill of this, because to me, you just can't beat those original recordings. Yes, it's nice that they told a story and it's adapted from the stage play, but leave some things be. They shouldn't make a third one. I shouldn't think there are any more ABBA songs ready, ready for that treatment.
I think they would have done it by now, so I think we're safe to say we're okay with that.
Yeah. I asked somebody the other day on this podcast what films in the 90s they saw in the cinema. Do you have any?
Yeah, The Lion King when it first came out, Casper when it first came out, and
Me too.
Pocahontas as well when it first came out. So
Wow.
I think Toy Story as well. Yeah, Toy Story.
You see, you've just won. You've just won. What iconic films? I'm guessing you wouldn't have been the person to choose what film you were going to see.
I remember expressing an interest in wanting to go to these, and I was taken. I can remember being taken to see Casper and The Lion King. Also, Toy Story. I think I must have gone with a friend or something. And Pocahontas. Some of them I went with friends. Some I went with family. But I guess I would have been given pocket money and was told that I could either go with friends or was taken by family. So I think it was me expressing that I wanted to go. So, and also I can remember kind of like in celebration when the cinema opened, because it was around the same time as The Lion King was out in 1994, seeing Mrs. Doubtfire at the cinema as well.
Again, you win. What was the first mature film that you saw in the cinema?
I think it would have been Mrs. Doubtfire actually.
Would you
When
say that was mature?
well, it certainly wasn't like cartoony. So trying to think. I mean, Jurassic Park, the first. It was the second one that I saw at the cinema, not the first one. The second one. What about that? Would you class that?
I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's middling,
that was the
isn't it?
second one, the one that was out in '95. And again, that was at the same cinema because it was not long after it opened. So it opened in '94 time, like I said, when The Lion King was out. So
Wow, what a selection of films! I went to see Casper in the cinema when I was about 5 years old. I feel like the same year I saw Jumanji, the original with Robin Williams, and I'm still scarred by it to this day. Um,
oh, I think I might have even seen that one as well because what it was, I was actually talking to Chris about this a few weeks back. On Saturday morning, they used to have this thing called Kids Club, and it used to be like £1.99 for a ticket and popcorn and drink. So I just used to go there like on a Saturday morning, and that was out of my pocket money. So I used to see a lot of these films at the time, and as soon as they came on a Kids Club, it was £1.99, and you could see them for that, that cheap. So
yes, I did wonder about this because I have a vague memory of seeing the Disney Robin Hood in the cinema, but I have no idea how I would have seen it. So I would imagine it was on something like that.
can you remember the first film that you ever saw at the cinema?
I would imagine that was Casper. But like I say, I feel like Robin Hood, something like that, would have been early 90s. I have a vague recollection of the Flintstones in the cinema as well.
Yeah,
But
that was another good film.
I don't know. I haven't seen it for 20 plus years.
We mentioned Robin Williams earlier. Have you ever seen the film called Jack?
Yes, I have. I mean, you got tears at the end, haven't you? Because the thing about Robin is he did all these comedy roles, but he could also make you cry.
It was a lovely film, and sometimes I feel it was a bit underrated because you don't really see it on much, do you?
Well, it's possibly up there with Dead Poets Society, if you've seen that. And that ends in a way you just do not expect, and it just proper makes the tears flow.
I haven't seen it, but I know a lot of people rate it. So
Oh, it was incredible. And actually, I think he should have been given more of an opportunity as an actual actor.
yeah,
There's a lot of actors who did comedies over the years who you think, if you'd done straight acting, you probably would have been great at it.
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, Robin Williams made so many great films, didn't he?
he did. Bless him.
Obviously, he was in Aladdin. He did Mrs. Doubtfire, as we mentioned. I saw him on the screen, big screen, in Flubber in the late 90s.
I think that I even went to the cinema to see that, and you've just reminded me. I watched a film with Chris the other day that he's never seen or heard of before, and it was released the same year as Aladdin was. Now I'm going to say it to you and see if you've ever heard of it or have you ever seen it. Fern Gully.
I have seen that, not for 25 years.
Wow.
I mean, that's on ITVX at the moment, isn't it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because it's suddenly come out of nowhere. It's owned by Disney now, which is odd.
Oh wow. Yeah.
But Robin Williams is in that, isn't he?
Yeah, he plays the bat. Batty.
Where can we go from here? You've told me before that you were a Sega fan, right?
That's right. Yeah. I was going to say you mentioned about taking part on a radio show on Radio 2 lately and winning a prize on there. I actually, talking about games consoles, back in the mid-90s, I entered a TV competition on Nickelodeon where you had to phone in, and I had to do an impression of a monkey, and I won a SNES console that included Donkey Kong.
I mean, you get more and more impressive by the by the week. How old were you, and how did it work?
I was about 11, and you had to phone in and get through, and there was a couple of other contestants, and you talk to the presenters, and then they'd be like, "Can you have a go now of doing a monkey impression?" And then literally just do the impression down the phone, and they said that I've won it, and I've still got the video footage because we've managed to record it off the TV at the time, got it on VHS somewhere. So,
I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? That's amazing. That
it was great. So yeah, although I am a Sega fan, it's great to say that I won a SNES like off a TV competition on Nickelodeon in the mid-90s. So yeah.
Did you play it often, or did it just kind of go in the cupboard?
Yeah, I played it quite a bit. I had a few games for it at the time, and I just remember being so proud as well that I won it at the time.
I take it that's gone now.
Yeah, I haven't got it anymore, sadly, but it would have been great if I had kept it. So,
I mean, potentially there's someone out there in the world that owns this machine for whatever reason, and they don't realize it was won on Nickelodeon.
exactly, I know.
That's an amazing thing. You've not told me that. That's really cool.
Yeah, just talking about it, and then the fact that you've done that radio competition this week on the phone in, and then obviously talk about games consoles, it reminded me to tell you and obviously mention it. So
one last question for you. Where are you going next?
Well, next weekend we've got a few tribute concerts we're going to, and then at the end of the month we've got Bewitched coming to our town, and then McFly coming to our town. So we're looking forward to that.
I mean, enjoy. This is one of the reasons why I started this podcast in the first place, is because a lot of things that we grew up with are either coming back or they never went away. And Bewitched and McFly are just two of those things. One of them came back and one of them really never went away. It's been marvelous to talk to you for all this time. Hopefully we should do it again. Please do keep in contact.
Will do. Thank you very much for all your time. It's been great. Thank you.
No, that's absolutely fine. And thank you for sharing your experience and coming up with that SNES story. I mean, I'm so glad we got that.
I honestly thought I told you, but I guess not. But it was a great fact to leave you with, I guess.
It's one I should be thinking about because I'm a Nintendo kid, and that's really cool.
Thank you.
That's really cool. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Hayley.
You're welcome. Thanks again for having me. Take care. Thanks, Jamie.